at your fingertips when you want it at KGAB.com.
9:34 is the time. Stuck at 47 degrees, AM 650, KGAB Radio. My name is Glenn Woods, and City Councilman Rocky Case was nice enough to hang around for another half hour because the calls are coming in, and this is important. If you're just joining us, Thomas Heights, the neighborhood above, is flooding the neighbors below. So who's responsible for this? Who fixes this? Let's go back to the phones. This is Glenn. Who's on the phone with us?
Hello, Glenn. My name's Jeff Dirksen. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What you got?
I've been following this issue since last summer. And Joy Stone is right, and the people that have talked to you from the neighborhood are correct, in that they've been largely ignored. Nobody's been willing to actually move forward on this until perhaps this text that Mr. Case got from the mayor. But I think this speaks to a larger issue, and one of the examples is Mr. Case's own neighborhood, is that the city of Cheyenne tends to do things that harm neighborhoods, and before things are done, they listen through public comment and public meetings about issues people want to raise about the proposed things that the city does. The city listens or does what it wants to, and then those bad things happen, and the city tends to not do anything to fix those problems. Case in point, Mr. Case's neighborhood, and there are several others around the city. So I think it raises a bigger issue that the city needs to listen to the people, and if something bad does happen, they need to take responsibility and actually go and fix the issue. And I hope that's what happens in this case.
What I can tell you is that the mayor has hired a new city engineer, and she is very, very talented, and she's surrounded herself with a great staff to deal with these issues. This is a situation, and I believe the mayor would agree with me. It's things happened in the past, but how can we make sure that they don't happen in the future? And it's surrounding yourself with talented people that won't let shoddy work pass.
Okay, and in defense of the city, I'll do that for just a moment. So, not to say I never defend you people, but what you're saying there's a point to be made. Some of these neighborhoods, what was designed and built could be like 15, 20 years ago, whatever the case is. Yeah. It's been a problem ever since. It's not necessarily something that happened within the past year or two.
Right.
So you're having to deal with the mistakes of the past.
Absolutely.
In those cases, we can go ahead and give you a break on that. But again, as long as you're listening to what people have to say.
Listening loud and clear. And again, building that staff to ensure that things like this,
right,
shoddy work doesn't pass is okay.
This is Glenn. Who's on the phone?
Rod Stone here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Rocky, for having this conversation. It's very important to us. And you ask, how do we keep this from happening in the future? Well, the City of Cheyenne Development Code is how we do it. The detention of stormwater, and I'm reading it, shall be based on the more of the restricted of, and I'll get to the meat of it. It says, as provided for in Section 3.2.3, drainage facilities shall be designed to, at a minimum, not adversely impact downstream property.
Right.
And simply bringing this project up to code is what the solution is, and who's going to pay for it. Well, I've had a contractor's license for years and years in floor covering, and if I mess up, the city doesn't pay for it. I do, and I learn from my mistakes, and I make sure it don't happen again. Mm-hmm. And I feel that the guardian, Big Dog, and this is another thing, Big Dog contractor doesn't have to go by code. So that puts the little contractor who is doing it by code at a disadvantage. Big Dog doesn't have to spend all the money on building detention ponds, where the little contractor that goes by the code has to spend more money on the drainage and stuff, and he has to spend more to do his development.
But can we, in this case, thanks for your call, can we in this case say, though, that the contractor did what they were told to do, and they could arguably, if it were to go to court, make that case, hey, we were told to do it this way, and that's the way we did it, so don't blame us.
Again, not being a lawyer, I don't want to step into that area, but what I will say is that it certainly has, and props to the mayor for this, encouraged a very hard look at internal processes.
All right, let's go back to the phones. This is Glenn. Who's on the phone with us?
This is Larry Bechtel. You cut me off for
Yeah, I can't let you put me on hold when we're live on the air. What you got for me?
We want to note that the drainage after it goes to down Summit Drive, it doesn't drain to natural drainage. And that's a big problem because it should go to natural drainage. There's no way that it drains to Child's Draw. It drains into a hole. As it drains down Summit, it goes wide and floods people's property. The borrow ditch and culverts are not in place to even drain it.
Well, let's hope that
they don't need to hire a third-party engineer. Somebody should look at it and say, hey, AVI Engineering didn't even present a good plan to us that's workable because the inner structure is not there to drain it.
Well, but the goal here now is to look at the entire scope of this problem and find a solution.
Okay, so that would mean, once again, getting an engineer, because it sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that we're going to have to get some engineers out there to look at the whole thing and redo it. It doesn't sound like it's just you add a couple of pipes to me.
I don't believe that that's going to be the solution.
Okay, and how big of an area are we talking about here?
It's several blocks.
Several blocks long. Yeah. Okay, all right. I keep going back to this, Rocky. I don't know. I keep going back to and who pays for it.
And who pays for
and
it.
Is it multiple part? Can the city pay for it? I mean, does the city have the money to pay for it?
No.
Okay.
And as an example, I keep going back to my neighborhood. I don't want my neighborhood is no better than that neighborhood. They're equal problems, right? But mine 15 years now, and it sounds to me like we will have the money to fix that problem next year.
Okay.
These are our plans. Priority is put on these things, and then the plans are built, and they come up on the list.
Well, before I have to the caller that's on hold, hang on, because I'm coming to you, but I also have a commercial break. But I got to ask. It sounds like there's more than one neighborhood, more than one area with a problem like this.
Absolutely.
How do you prioritize?
How do you prioritize? And that's the question. And the priority list is already, not that Thomas Heights needs fixed, right? And so do others. And there is a priority list. So
okay. All right, let's talk more about that in just a moment. And the caller, hang on, coming to you. It's AM 650 KGAB.
Spring has sprung at Goodwill, Wyoming. Whether you're trying to clean house or spruce up your home, Goodwill has what you need. It's a perfect place to pick up items for you and your home when you shop at your local Goodwill. Whether you're picking up a fresh outfit for you or a great piece of wall decor, you should be able to find whatever you're looking for this spring. Remember, shopping and donating at Goodwill, Wyoming means that you're helping create jobs and improve the lives of those in your community. Visit goodwillwy.org.
At Menards, we're committed to saving you big money on home improvement, and that's why nobody beats our prices. Right now, all Bosch power tool accessories are on sale at Menards. Get an 18-piece jigsaw blade set, 5-piece drill bit set, 14-piece titanium-coated drill bit set, or a 32-piece impact driver bit set. Your choice, just $9.99 each after rebate. Find these and other great deals going on now through April 6th during Menards Construction Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
This Easter, relax and enjoy brunch at Little America. Dine in the Grand Ballroom from 10 to 2 or at Hathaway's from 10 to 5. There'll be photos with the Easter Bunny in the Grand Ballroom. Enjoy a presentation of traditional brunch favorites featuring prime rib, glazed ham, and omelet and dessert stations. The restaurant will also feature an elegant seafood display, garlic roasted leg of lamb, and a Bloody Mary bar. Reservations for all party sizes are highly encouraged. Call 775-8404. Relax and celebrate with Easter brunch at Little America.
People say you can't get much for your dollar nowadays. To those people we say, because Taco John's everyday value menu is loaded with classic tacos, burritos, desserts, and other one-of-a-kind favorites. And get this, nothing on it costs more than $3. In fact, you can get a lot of it for less than $2. And some items are only $1, which is another word for $1. So how about that for your dollar, eh? How about that? Ole the day at Taco John's.
It's AM 650, KGAB Radio. KGAB.com. My name is Glenn Woods. Phone number to get involved, 632-6500. Thanks to this caller for hanging on through the commercial break. This is Glenn, who's on the phone. What you got for us?
Glenn, this is Dane Kurtig again. I'm the first person downstream from Thomas Heights.
Okay.
I make this short as I can. The city told us that we could hire our own engineer to review this, and then they hired a contractor out of Utah. Rod Stone called. They come over. Rod Stone ran around with him and went back, and Rod called back again, and he said, what was going on? And he said, well, the city hasn't signed that contract out yet. So we've heard all the bullshit. We've heard all the garbage going on. I'm going to write the president because the state attorney general told me I need to talk to the mayor. The state attorney general is for the citizens of Wyoming, not the citizens of Cheyenne. So we're through playing. We're through talking. We're through getting in a room together and hearing the same political BS.
Well, now, are you going to hire an attorney? How you playing this?
We have been talking to a former state attorney general, and they are, for $20,000, are going to take on an inverse condemnation because they have taken our property by this action. So yes, I'm going to if I have to do it.
Now, and in the lawsuit, who are you going after?
We're going after the people responsible for it.
Which is who?
Which is the city. For their not lack of oversight.
Yeah, I don't. It's unfortunately not my job to get involved in those things. You know, my job is.
I'm going to say I appreciate what you're doing. I'm going to send you all the stuff I have.
Please do. Do you need my email address?
And you would look into it. Do I know your address?
My email address, or just send it hard copy to the city building.
Well, I can get back later, and I'll call you back. I'll find out. I can get on my computer and find that out.
You got it.
Okay. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. So that means in one form or another, there's possible lawsuit coming.
Yeah, perhaps. And, you know, city council is not, that's not our role.
Okay. So that goes to who then? If somebody wants to go ahead and file a suit, goes to?
Potentially our legal department, potentially WARM, Wyoming Association of Risk Managers.
Right.
It depends on how it gets litigated. There's multiple routes that could go on there.
Okay, so then the next thing was, we were talking about this during the course of the break here, so it also comes down to the engineers. There's certain things that you won't answer because, well, the engineer has to answer that, and that's not a city council problem.
Yeah, not my job. And again, like we were talking on the break, I don't want to get in the business of micromanaging any of the departments. That's not our job. Our job is to make sure we're dealing with good policy and addressing and highlighting neighborhood and citizen issues. And that's what my role is today.
If anyone else has any other comments or questions, 632-6500 is the phone number. One last break, we'll wrap it all up. It's AM 650, KGAB Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. It's the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Ad sponsored by OpenJar Concepts. Attention veterans and active duty military. If you were issued earplugs between 2002 and 2016 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-856-2940 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-856-2940 now. Again, 800-856-2940. That's 800-856-2940.
9:49 is the time. 47 degrees, AM 650, KGAB Radio. 2 callers on hold. This is Glenn. Who's with us?
This is Larry Bechtel.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to get Rocky Case to give me a topographical map showing how the water runs to Child's Draw. I've requested this from the city since 2017 and never got a map. A map doesn't exist because they're dumping the water in the hole. And that's strictly disregard for people that live downstream. Can he provide that map for me?
I don't have it. I suspect I could find something in engineering. Send me an email or leave me a voicemail at the city office. I'll do some digging and see what I can find.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. AM 650, KGAB Radio. This is Glenn. Who's on the phone?
Yeah, this is Jim in Cheyenne. You know, one of the things is any development and builders and all that, and the engineering, they all have insurance that pays for this kind of mistakes and oversight. And so there's their funding mechanism to get this taken care of. They just need to look at it. And
I think you're talking about errors and emissions in insurance. I don't know what triggers that, but I would suspect litigation. And who would win in a process that was litigated.
Well, I think first you contact the insurance company, and that's the start. But I mean, this is a big issue because it's a land rights issue, and you can't take someone's land and use it. And that's on the builder and the developer.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to respond, but I'm not a lawyer. I got a political science degree, so halfway there.
Well, I was going for one of those too, so you and I both know how useless that is. Okay, let's go back to the phones. This is Glenn. Who's on with us?
Glenn, Jim. Listen, Mr. Case, wonder why you just can't set a date there for a meeting and send out messages to all people. Get them there. I think you have the power to do that.
Well, then would they actually show up is my question. Just because you said we're going to have a meeting on this day, do they necessarily care to show up?
Well, Rocky, you never know. Or I'm sorry, Glenn, you never know until you set the date, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think now that I understand that a third-party engineer has been retained to work on this, I think it's a situation where we look at their findings and their solutions, and that would probably be a good point to have a work session on.
All right. So if anyone else wants to squeeze in for the top of the hour, 632-6500 is the phone number. Let's talk real quick about, so what's the process? You get a third-party engineer in.
Okay.
All right. That engineer is paid to look at the problem. All right. So the engineer comes up then what, with a recommendation? You have a meeting on recommendation?
I suspect they would draw at least one, maybe two or three different solutions.
So here's what you have to do to solve the problem.
Right.
Then what? Because we still haven't answered the question.
Pay for it.
Who pays for this?
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's the best quote right there. That was the best quote. The whole thing right there.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If this thing gets litigated, who knows?
Yeah.
And that could delay progress on the project. I mean, there's multitude of ways that funding could come together. There's grants, you know.
Okay.
I think a lot of people need to raise their hands and say, yeah, we had a stake in this and we're willing to pay, but we don't know what those costs are yet.
Well, and some people, I mean, you're counting on the goodness of the hearts of some people, but other people, I guess litigation will have to come into play, because how many people volunteer like that
to give up their money?
That kind of money too. Yeah. It's good. It's going to be expensive. So grab your headphones again. Here, we'll squeeze a couple more in. This is Glenn. Who's on the phone?
Rod Stone again. Glenn, about funding for this drainage issue that has been flawed. There again, it goes against city code, and the city simply could red tag that job until they figure out this drainage. They do have insurance. It's on them. They've hired this engineer who has butchered this drainage, and we're the ones that's paying the price. The builders made tons of money off this. The city's got a good tax base off this, and it is at our expense, this drainage, and our property is being damaged, devalued, water in our houses. So, you know, it's a matter of doing the right thing, and this is no way to run a city when you allow big dog to trample, and we feel like the city has just bulldozed their way into our neighborhood and just disrespected us, and this Guardian just started dumping their water on us because it was the easiest, cheapest thing for them to do. It's worked out for everybody but us, and we expect this development to be to code.
Well, and that, I said at the beginning of the hour here, the catalyst for me coming on this morning after talking with Glenn yesterday is to hopefully raise the noise level and get the players that are involved here on the right side of right.
And now, at some point, though, I think this probably does come down to a lawsuit because, as this gentleman just said, there's damage done. There's damage done in homes. There's damage done to the property. There's people who have animals and trying to make some money off of the property there. And so at some point, someone's going to present somebody with a bill for damages.
Perhaps they do.
That's when it gets back into the lawyers again and how to handle that. And then let's say, just a hypothetical here, somebody does go ahead and sue the city and they win. That money comes from where?
I suspect WARM, the Wyoming Association of Risk Management, or
right.
Insurance. Who knows?
Yeah,
it depends on how things are decided.
And there's where I was curious about when it comes, because I think some of the callers have it right about insurance. You don't do something like this without some kind of an insurance policy just in case things go wrong. And I would love to see.
Yeah, you would hope not.
Yeah,
when we get into litigation,
yeah,
to me that just delays progress on the solution. Right?
But is there a point though that you on the city council and for that matter the mayor sit down with lawyers and take a look at everything that might be coming your way?
City council wouldn't get involved with that. We'd be kept abreast as to what was happening.
Okay, but that's just not where you get. Well, because I mean, again, considering that not only does something need to be done, but there might be some legal action at the same time, then at some point you'd want to lay out, a plan, like a what-if plan.
Yeah, the city council typically isn't going to get involved with litigation. So
okay, well then I guess the next big thing is, like one of the callers said, let's just have this meeting then. And so, do you have a?
Well, now that I understand we've got this engineer, I think the most appropriate time to have that meeting is when a solution's been
sure.
decided.
Don't have any callers right now, but if someone wants to squeeze in real quick, 632-6500 is the phone number. But this is the frustrating part then, is to make sure it's good that the engineer's there. That's good.
That's the first step.
But
right?
still, the interested parties at some point have to be brought into the same room, and I guess that's got to be the hard part, is to get everybody to sit down.
We need to know
and
what that plan looks like, and we need to know what that cost is.
And I know they're angry, and it's going to be kind of hard to listen to them, but to get these homeowners downstream in on that meeting as well would probably be a good idea.
Probably, and they're willing. They're able to come to city council and talk in other business at each city council meeting.
Okay, last caller I'm going to squeeze in is on right now, and then we're done for the day. This is Glenn, who's on the phone.
Yeah, it's Rob Courtier again, another $10.
Okay,
anyway,
boy, you owe some charities in Wyoming. Go ahead.
You know what? That's okay. Good cause. Anyway, the thing with it is, though, is at this point, right, where I've had all this water in my valley, right, this stuff has had 3 years to seep clear down in. Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever been involved in a spill before. I used to haul hazmat.
Okay.
All right, so I know what's involved in a spill. If I dump a gallon of gas, they got to dig down until they can no longer find it.
Right.
All right, and then fill that back in. All right, and a small spill could cost you $50,000 just by itself. All right.
I hear you.
And this stuff, like I said, has had 3 years to go down into the ground. Not only on me, but my neighbors too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about a massive cleanup. That could run into the millions. And like I said, I've protected my property since I've owned it.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife grew up here too, right on the same property. So we've been in this area quite a while. And it's just like I said, I'm sick of what's happened to my property. Just sick of it,
As would I.
And because I used to run horses all over this area, right? I can no longer put any animal on that property without risking them.
All right, I got to run.
Okay.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate that. News time is coming up. Thanks, Rock, for coming in. That was big of you to